There are two things that I need to mention. The very first committee I was on, the Transportation Committee, three of the members of that committee, the chair, Enid Jaffe, Midge Moraz, and Bonnie Gardner here. I thought I saw her. Bonnie. So we're still here. So I thought that was interesting. Thank you, really, all of you, for coming. The second thing, I lost count of the number of people who say, "How are you?" And of course, I'm sort of fine, but I can put it best in the words of Arthur Dieterman, who was a poet of sorts. And he wrote, "The tusks that clashed in mighty brawls of mastodons are billiard balls. The sword of Charlemagne the Just is ferric oxide, known as rust. Great Caesar's bust is on the shelf, and I don't feel so well myself." Because I've been to several of the older American soirees, and they always mention how the older Americans help the city. I'd like to talk about what I've learned working with the city, for it, listening to other people. And I'm going to go chronological order. The first one was long, long ago when City Hall was in the old building. And I went there. I'd been here a few months, maybe a year. And I was there because I was a member of Friends of the Library. I joined right away. Can everybody hear me? Yeah. Okay, I'd rather look at you than look at the microphone. And they talked about the library budget. And one of the members of the city council was a little unsure about whether the budget could pass because the city was in dire financial straits. This must sound familiar. So a little old lady, who was probably 10 years younger than I am now, but be that as it may, came up and said, we really want to need the money for the library. And so one of the councilmen said, well, we may have to raise taxes. You think that'd be all right? And the little old lady said, well, I'm imitating her, I don't know. And I thought, there goes the ball game. So I got up and said, look, I'm new to the city. I came here with 3 kids. I didn't come here to save money, save taxes. I came here because it's a wonderful environment for children, and it would be a very good idea for children to have access to a library. And I've been sitting here calculating how much this tax was going to amount to. And I divided it by the number of families in Sierra Madre. And I said, it's going to come out to about 1 popsicle per month. And I think surely the families can afford that. Well, and I sat down, and there was immense applause. And I entered an empty chamber. What I did not realize was that everybody was there because there was a sewer problem. And they wanted to tax people for sewers. Anyway, because there was a very hearty round of applause, guess what? The budget passed. And the lesson I learned from that is, you don't have to be a long-time resident, you don't have to be a member of a committee, you don't have to be a member of a commission or a board. If you can throw some light on the subject and bring some perspective to the matter, things will work themselves out fairly well. The second I want to talk about is the tree commission, or the tree committee. There were 3 tree committees. I happened to be in all of them. And the first one, on which I was in the substantial minority, I think I was the only one who didn't like it, had a very suggested that the city control this, that, and control. I don't really think I need this, but all right. Let's go. So anyway, they suggested that they control trees in people's backyards. which I thought was a very bad idea. It went all the way up to the city council and sank without a trace. So the city appointed another committee, and I happened to be in the other one. I think the people in the first committee gave up, didn't want to be reappointed. Be that as it may, they hired an outside firm to present a plan for the city of Sierra Madre, which turned out to be a rather good copy of the plan from the South Thousand Oaks City. And it also wanted to discuss what happened in people's backyards. And it sank without a trace, not even a glue, because it went beneath the surface. So then we had a third city committee, and we didn't do much of anything. I had Lou, I don't know if Lou Watanabe is here, but he was invaluable in saying, no, you don't want to prune oak trees in December, you want to prune in January or something like that. He was an expert at it, and he added a lot of technical information to it. But we stayed out of people's backyards, that's all we did. Cleaned up a little language and all that, and lo and behold, it passed on the first reading, City Council passed it, and that was the end of that. And the lesson I learned from that, a lesson that Robert Bruce learned from a spider, is if at first you don't succeed, try again. And I'll discuss that a little more later. The third thing that, let's see, the third one was in the new City Hall. I think it was Mayor Gary Adams at the time. And another little old lady came up. The city was almost brand new. And I went there for some other reason. And a little old lady, the second and last one I'm going to refer to, came up to the front. And she wanted to do something, and she was having some problems with the city. And she rambled, and I could not make out what she wanted. And she kept on going. And I believe it was Gary Adams said very gently, we have a lot of business here, but I think we can help you. If you will meet me after the meeting today, or during our recess, or at a time of your convenience, I'll take you to the appropriate city manager, and we'll help get your problem settled. And he said it in such a kindly manner. And in my opinion, that was the way to set the tone for the city. And it's been repeated afterwards, and it really was charming to see what that happened. That really made me a convert. If Sierra Madre is the only place I really want to be. And the last, which I think is funny, although at the time it wasn't, was the undergrounding of North Baldwin. This was a strange experience. It started out with two completely erroneous assumptions. One was that when we deregulated electricity, we would all get a 10% rebate or discount on our electric bills. The second, even wilder assumption was that the citizens of Sierra Madre would gladly donate that money to underground utilities. It got worse. We had asked, everybody's going to put in, well, I won't go through the whole thing. Anytime you want to hear, some of it was tragic at the time, not tragic, difficult. Turned out we had money problems. We might have had another election, because if we're going to charge people to put new boxes on their houses, they'd have to have an election. There might have been an environmental impact report if we didn't do this or if we didn't do that. And we had quite disagreements among the committee itself on what kind of lights we should have, how tall it should be, etc., etc., etc. Art Vaughn is in the front row. He helped me make some pictures. Actually, he didn't help me, he did everything. We took pictures of particularly bad examples of utility lines obscuring the view and so forth and so on. And we also had a little fun with that, which nobody spotted. We had a whole bunch of birds sitting on a wire going across the street. And I asked Art, could you remove the wire but leave the birds there? Nobody saw it. So anyway, and all wanted to get undergrounding on North Baldwin. And so we worked it out. And we got the stuff done. We found the money here, there, and everywhere, and we did it. And the lesson I learned from that is, it's not enough to be willing to compromise. It's better to have a committee in which all of them are aggressively pursuing what they can compromise on. And they did it. And so this is an education for me, which I have used in other venues and all that. Now, there's a book that came out some years ago, very popular, saying, everything I know I learned in kindergarten. And so everything I've told you tonight, you already know. But it's one thing to know it, and it's another thing to learn in your own life. It's the experience which does it, and the experience was very valuable to me. And I would be willing to bet that there are probably quite a few people here who have been older Americans, Citizens of the Year and all that. Hank Landsberg was Citizen of the Year. He started the 4th of July parade many, many years ago. Or no, actually Doug Hayes did. And he, okay, so, hey, I'm a senior year. I'm entitled to forget. But anyway, I would be willing to talk to any of them. And they'd say, that's not what we did for Sierra Madre. Boy, did we learn a lot. And so have I. Thank you.